Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. I've almost lost the will to live doing this because this is about take 6, one interruption after another. Oh dear. Right, let's get on with it. You're on this video. It's a build vlog number 2, I believe, on my 1/48 scale Airfix Hawker Sea Fury. Got it right this time. Not a Lancaster. Not a Lancaster, not a Sky Raider, not a Mirage 2000, I don't care. It's alright, I've been stuffing this up one time after another. Right guys, yeah, it's taken a while because I'm just gluing a piece on, letting it go over, dry overnight properly, and you know, I put a bit of masking tape on to put the bits and pieces in the right place. But what I've found before, with maybe with the Starfighter and that, I was rushing it a bit, you know. It was almost like, oh, it's super glue almost, you know, and you get things out of alignment and whatever. Now I've done things all the proper way. I've been clamping bits and pieces and I've still got things out of alignment. Oh dear, it's trials and tribulations of a novice builder. Yeah, it's I've had some problems with seam lines, mainly my fault, just not being able to do seam lines very well. It's a case of I can't ever seem to get. I've just watched. If you want to know, you know, a masterclass in filling you know, the seams of an aircraft and making them disappear completely, go to watch Greg's models. Go and see the work he's doing on a Domini at the moment. He's just finished it. It's a 2-part build, but the second part, which he uploaded today, you just want to take your model and throw it in the bin. You know, it's uplifting in some respects, and in other lifting, it's bloody crushing. Now I know he's probably been doing it for years, and you know, he only looks about 25 actually. But yeah, you know, he's probably been doing it for years, and he is just really talented, you know. And as I say, watching someone like Greg, they lift a bar for you to try and, you know, jump over. Now again, he's miles in front of me, you know, and I don't suppose I'll ever get that far. But and also I'm not trying to put pressure under myself to be a Greg. I'm a Gav, and I'm quite happy to go as far as I can go with it, you know. And if it's only a bit further than I am at the moment, so be it. I know you still get the fun of building the models and you know, painting them. So I keep looking down because the Sea Fury's down here. I'm about to show you in a minute. So yeah, there was a couple of problems putting the fuselage seams together, or halves together. There was a ridge. I couldn't see on that one that it was my fault. It probably is, you know. I'd say a novice builder. It's only my second aircraft, and well, you know, since I was a kid anyway. And so I didn't. So I didn't get the gap to fill. I got a ridge. So I've had to sand that down, but I swear I've flattened it out in a couple of places. But I've tried to not put pressure on, like show on the videos. Don't put pressure on your sandpaper. Let the sandpaper do the work, or the stick that I've got. And that was a bit problematical. And getting the seam down around a few bits of panel lines and things like that, and raised panel bits, you know, that's been problematical. So that there's. And also clamping the wings together. I've got where the 20mm cannon slightly poke out. There's like a little tray behind them. Now I don't know if I've got that round upside down, or if I mean, I look at someone like military modeler Paul. He built one of these, and his was perfect, and he never mentioned there was any problem. So I've got a feeling I've probably put them upside down or something. He was doing the Fleet Air Arm version of this, but I don't suppose they use the same moulds. I mean, it's a Sea Fury at the end of the day. So yeah, I'll show you down at the bench now some of the bits and pieces that go in a bit awry, and I'm hoping to try and make them look as best I can. But it's been very enjoyable. In case you haven't noticed, so I've held this box up about 5 times to the camera now, and each time I've had to scrap the video. So in case you haven't noticed, that's what I'm building, except for I'm building the Royal Dutch Navy version. So guys, join me at the bench and we'll have a quick squiz at this. Thanks for joining me at the bench, Tubesters. I'm just going to try and get my normal mucky pointing stick to have a look. So this is the progress we've made so far, or I've made so far. I've noticed, why as modelers a lot we say we when it's one person building it. I don't understand, never mind. But I'm going into that way of doing it. Let's start off with the bit I'm most proud of. It's this is built in a subsection. It's one piece, and I put a black coating over it, and then sprayed it with a mix of, which I've completely forgotten now, of paint to make this like eggshell colour up, which I think Airfix, it was Airfix that actually said, you know, this and this, although I'm not using their obviously like Humbrol colours or anything. I quite like that, the way I've got it with the black. It's got like a shadowy, dingy look, and I've just put a couple of aluminium scratches on there just to show a tiny bit of wear. But I'm quite liking that. It's about the best bit. As you can see, this is the seam I'm on about. And let's see if we can. Right, this is the seam I'm on about. Now there was quite a ridge there with you know, when you put your nail up against it, as you do, there was quite a ridge. Now I've sanded that down. I've tried to obviously keep beveling the sanding stick and use smoothest as I could, but I swear I've got a couple of flat areas. And I can see that that's going to, when I saw Greg say like spray over it and you'll find any imperfections. Well, what Greg's imperfections are mine at this stage. There's no way that that's not going to show up though on an overcoat of paint, I wouldn't have thought. But I don't know what else to do without flattening it out anymore. You know what I mean? I don't want to, you know, complete flat top to this bird. So, and again here. So I might just, well, hang on. We'll talk about these bits here. And again, can you see? Trying to get them around these raised bits. I've not wanted to completely fill, this has got to be filled by the way, but I don't want to completely fill this area because obviously it's on the real aircraft. Obviously there's a slight gap there. I filled all around there when I originally did that piece. Obviously I've got to do that. I only stuck this on last night, so that's got to be filled there. Down here again. And this is all Vallejo putty I've used, but I have a feeling again that that's all going to show up when I actually get round to you know, spraying it over. So I'm a bit not disheartened, but I've got a nasty feeling after seeing what Greg was going all about his. You know, I've got a nasty feeling I'm going to be in a world of trouble when I actually do spray it over. I've put the flaps slightly down with the hydraulics. Well, it would help you, Gav, if you put it under. So I've noticed on the pictures of the Hawker Sea Furies, when they're just stationary, they have obviously the flaps just go down slightly. So that's not too much of a problem. There was a very, very slight seam gap there. Sorry for my grubby fingernails. And I've on the leading edge, and I've done that. Now this is the bit that's most disheartening. As you can see, I've got the seam line, excuse me, stick. I've got the seam line here I'm going to have to fill. There's a gun ports. Now the 20mm cannon, they are literally a couple of mil long, and they're really thick and stubby, but they were bent like bananas. There was no way you could use them, and I ended up having to put some brass rod, of which ones I've knocked one off as I've been painting, so I'm hoping to insert another one in there. Obviously there'd be some form of seam line down here, because these wings obviously go up as it's a naval aircraft for stowage. But yeah, it's mainly along that wing section there where it joins. I mean, I've got that lovely great big ridge there. Now I can't see that being the kit, so it's got to be me. As I say, it's a novice builder, I'm just making loads of mistakes, but I am dry fitting them. I'm dry fitting them over and over again, and I'm still making blooming mistakes. And here's probably the worst, you know, around here. Now I'm probably going to have to use my epoxy putty for these, because there's no way that Vallejo stuff's going to fill a gap like that. And here as well. So that's a bit disconcerting or disheartening. The other thing I've noticed as well, I wanted to show, I think we've got one here. See this little divot here? That is caused by the giant, is it sprue gates, where they're actually hanging onto the sprue. I'll show you in a minute. Some of them are fine, and then they've got these huge whopping, especially on the larger, you know, the larger pieces that they've pressed out. They've got these huge, great big sprue gates, and no matter how you try and clip them off, they leave a little divot out. Now, fair enough, with the work I've got to do with the putty, it's not a huge problem, I suppose, but it's not good. I think that's about the only thing that I'd say against the kit. One of the other things as well, I'm not sure which wing it was. I think it's this one. I've obviously not gone back. I don't know. It's okay in parts, but it looks like there's a slight ridge there. Something I'm going to probably have to put some putty on there to get that to conform. I've got some gluey fingerprints, which I suppose again is a newbie type of mistake. So I've got to sand those out, but I've got a feeling I've got a lot of sanding to do, so it's not going to be a massive hardship. But yeah, I'm not, you know, I think I'm not the only one. I've heard other people go, you know, that puts them off doing aircraft, but I love my aircraft, and I'd really like to get, you know, at least halfway decent at doing them. So, but as I say, I've not put any pressure on that on when I've been doing this sanding, but there was a ridge there rather than, as I say, a gap. A gap I would imagine would be a lot easier to fill than a ridge. So I sanded the ridge down as best I could, and then I put the filler on, then sanded that down and the ridge again, and then I put more filler on and sanded that down, and I've still got bits and pieces that's probably going to need doing again. So don't expect a load of updates like this last one. It's taken a couple of weeks to get this far. It is what it is. You know, I'll get there. It's not going to look anything like some of the guys I've seen, but then again, they've been doing it a bit longer than I have, so you know, it's not all gonna. You ain't going to be a halfway decent modeler overnight, I suppose. But it's at the moment, you know, I think the fit issues I've had have all been me. I don't think they're anything to do with the kit. It's just me, you know, making newbie mistakes. I've noticed a couple of tabs where I've glued them. Then, because these parts here are obviously separate. There's a strengthening piece in between the two wing joins, and I just think, although they've gone into the holes, you know, the little pegs have gone into the holes, it has still been slightly out of place in areas, and that's got to be just down to me. But it's how to rectify that, really. So I think it's going to be epoxy putty tonight, and then another couple of days of sanding and that, because what I intend to do, this will be like more or less the colour of the one I showed you on the box just now. It's going to be like a dark sea grey at the top, and this duck egg grey, is it? Green grey, whatever it, on the sides and underneath. I believe it's underneath as well, with this nose section all being orange. And what I'd planned to do, I'd seen a model version online, the same one, is to do a black. I haven't got any black primer, but I was going to prime it in my normal grey, and then put a coat of black over, just Vallejo black probably, and then do all those little grey squiggles that you see to give like a, if not a mottled effect, but some tonal variation in the paint. And that's my plan anyway. I saw them do it on the top, you know, all over apart from the orange. Although actually I think that one wasn't a Dutch one, but yeah, that's my plan. But I do not want to see, like I had with the Starfighter, you know, grotty seam lines, and but I'm also conscious that I don't want to obviously flat out areas that shouldn't be flat. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that. I've also got the wing join there where it would go up in storage on the hangar deck. That's fairly okay. Slight ridge to it, and I'm thinking I might have to give that a gentle sand. But this one I couldn't get it any no matter how much I tried, any flatter. So I might have to try and give that a gentle sand as well. I'm not 100% sure yet. So yeah, that's where we are. Just thought I'd give you an update, as it's been a while on the Sea Fury. As I say, it's just literally because I'm having to wait, obviously, overnight and that for putty to dry. Well, say overnight, it's more like 24 hours by the time I get back to it again. But yeah, you know, it's just taking time to fill things, sand things, you know, let glue go off. And it's just taking a tad longer than I thought it might do. But as I say, I'm enjoying it in itself. As I say, it's interesting. I'd like to say I was solving problems, but I'm not at the moment. It's not. Greg solves problems. Gav just like sweeps them under the carpet, I think. Unfortunately, the carpet ain't big enough. So guys, you take care of yourselves. We'll catch each other very, very soon on another video. Cheers.